Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Wednesday morning where we're chill. I'm the greatest dad, back to
Are we
number
chill?
one.
I
And
am not chill.
you're not chill?
I'm still riding the high, man. Like I've been it's been a tough few months in terms of like work and everything, in terms of my work life. But this has
Being
just
an
been me.
adult and everything?
Yeah, being an adult and everything. But then over the last few days, it's just been sweet emotion, I guess, to quote the song and everything like that. Like, oh man, like it's been great. It's been great the last few days.
I don't know,
I've been
this
looking forward to
victory
this
lap,
show.
man. How long do you think we're going to do this victory lap? Because, like I said, I mean, obviously, we did it in the post match, throughout the match on Sunday. And then we did it Monday morning, did it Monday night. Last night it was just me and Glenn on the panel show, so it was a lot more of the victory lap there. It was good to get like a Brentford perspective, somebody from outside looking in on this team and stuff. But based on the comments and stuff over here, there you go, like the Polish princes going
Yeah.
around the new palace celebrating. Godfrey, what's going on, sir? Good morning. Cersei is always giving you shits on your oat milk. In your do we have oat milk in the coffee again? Is that
Oh
like
yeah.
a John staple?
Oh yeah. It is. Like it's because I
Let
discovered
me ask
very
you this and be honest.
yeah.
Do you request oat milk to be purchased for your oat milk pleasure, or is it something regularly stocked in the Boldito household?
It's regularly stocked. Like
Okay, so you're
we
not like,
all have it.
where's my oat milk?
No, we all have it. The thing is, unfortunately, genetics, right? My dad and my sister are both semi lactose intolerant. Well, mostly my sister. She's like more, and I recently discovered that apparently that part of my genes just waited to be activated until very recently.
Wait,
Until yeah, until very recently, which was a bummer because I love whole milk. And when I transitioned to oat milk, I was not happy, but then I've adjusted over the last few weeks or so, and it's actually good. And you know, I
so
like
like you can't tolerate it anymore? Is that what's happening here?
I'd rather not risk it, especially if I'm in public. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
lit-
I don't even know what the I mean, I don't know if you want to call it side effects or whatever it is. Sergi says he drinks coconut milk.
my guy Sir Z is making fun of me, but he's like basically in the same boat.
Yeah,
Like,
he's lactose intolerant too. You guys got to learn tolerance. That's what we need more of in this world. We need to
oh
learn
geez,
more tolerance.
that's very hyper masculine of you.
Thanks. Whether it's milk or something else, we have to be more tolerant. Um, Matura said victory lap all
Oh, I am
summer.
all for that. I'm all for
Oh,
that.
man, yeah, it might be all summer.
Yeah.
And then honestly, like yeah, like now you get to watch American Milk isn't milk, says Cersei. I'll be honest though, yes, having had like old school milk, whatever the hell that means, like back home growing up, like straight from the straight from the ass of the cow kind of thing. Yeah, it is a huge difference. Mind you, I cannot drink, fun fact, I can't drink white milk. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, I can. I'm not like intolerant. I don't have a physical condition. I just have. I
It's a
just can't.
preference.
Even the smell of it, I just can't do it. Like in cereal, I actually put chocolate milk in my cereal. I just can't do
Chocolate.
like white
Hmm.
milk. Yes, or it has to be something in there. Can't even the smell of it's kind of like has like a backlash for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I
Oh
know
yeah.
why, but I was kind of forced to drink milk growing up like every morning and stuff. Mind you, it had honey and shit in it. Ugh. But of course, my mom still brags that that's why we never got sick, which I'd be cool with being sick and not going to school, but that's a different story. But yeah, I think it was because of that, like being forced that and an egg. So I hate eggs with a passion, like, boiled eggs or anything like that. I can do like omelets, scrambled and stuff like that, and I don't do milk. So
I love how you're yapping there, and then Matouche just roasts you out of nowhere. It's
it
like,
is a mental like I can't like even the smell of it. If I like get milk just to smell it, I'm like, nope, it's not happening. The oatmeal, I like I say, I'm never gonna just chug milk anyway. But if it's in a coffee or anything like that, I really don't mind it. I don't want to. I threw up a while later. Yes, we don't want to know the rest about it. Yes, let's end over there.
yeah. I mean, I've had enough of Farmers League. Oh, it's no longer a Farmers League, Sergi. Now that we broke the trend. You know what I mean? Now that we broke the trend.
Okay, talking about intolerance, let's talk a little bit about this over here. I don't know. I don't get this stuff. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. So, because of his shirts,
Yeah.
and obviously the message on the shirts, he was sent to FA. Like they looked into it, and basically the result was, "Don't do it again. You're not supposed to do that. You know that, right?" And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that," and stuff like that. And clearly, obviously, every player knows. I guess my thing to you is, I personally don't care, and I'm said this before. I'm not a religious person, but you do you. If you're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
you belong to this guy, I don't care who you belong to, whatever. If that's what you believe, if that's what makes you, whatever. I'm cool with it. Um, I understand why they would want to eliminate it all, so that what you consider religion or whatever maybe might be offensive to me or something like that. But where do you stand on, like, when you see something like that? When I saw the investigation, I was like, oh, are we really doing this? Like, no one cares.
Yeah.
But at
I'm
the
more.
same time, I understand why they would like care, because then where do you draw the line, kind of a situation.
Right. In terms of being fair to everyone, because like we did talk about it at the start, before the start of the show. Like if you're finding people for saying other religious messages, you got to be across the board. You can't be partial to one, which they did. And I'm with you. I'm not particularly a religious guy, even though I was brought up as one. So listen, Gakpo can commit to whoever he wants. It could be any religion, and express himself. That's fine with me. I didn't really think that this was going to be a whole thing, to be honest. I guess I was too caught up in the celebrations, right? Like, uh, it's a big nothing burger for me.
Yeah, I don't even think we talked about it because we did the live watch along. I don't think any one of us
Right? Yeah,
brought
yeah.
up.
When he was like, "I belong to Jesus," and I know Gakpo is like highly Catholic. They were like, "Okay, that's fine." More was being made of it being like, "Oh, he's copying Kaka's celebration," more
Yes,
than the
yeah,
religious
yeah,
gesture itself. So it's for me, it's just okay. Do you like you said, man? You do you, right?
yeah. You do you. I mean,
Yeah,
Alan says Jesus. Well, I mean, he belongs to Jesus. I don't care. Why take him off and permit Mo to bend down on the grass and authorities say nothing? Well, those are two different things, though. You can, I mean, it's never an issue to, look up and say thanks or whatever. That's not an issue. That's what basically Mo is doing. That's kind of like the Muslim thing. So he's doing that. I don't think that, I think when they get involved is when you are, one, like using something else and it's written and you're conveying a message, like you're sending a written message. I think is a bigger deal than um like you pray. I mean, you can pray to yourself, like players pray before the games and stuff like that. So like
yeah,
it's not a big deal. It's different when you're, and I think that's why they get involved, because today that's the message, tomorrow it might be a political message, or the next day it might be
right.
something else and stuff like that. So they want to make sure, like, this is FA's way of saying, hey, don't think we didn't see that, by the way. We did see it, but that's cool, kind of a deal, is what I take it as. But same reaction that you had when I saw it. I was like, really, this is what we're wasting time on?
Yeah, I'm glad we're getting it out of the way. By the way, early in the show, to be honest, like when you said like we're talking about this, I was like, oh, like I just want to talk about winning the league, man. Like, listen, like Gakpo looked like Gakpo of old against Spurs.
Yes.
It's against Spurs, but it's a great sign, right? Like and I was talking about this with a gentleman at the pub I was at. We've missed him big time. Like the losses against PSG, where he wasn't up to snuff. The final against Newcastle, he wasn't the Cody Gakpo that we had in the middle and at the start of the season, and that was big. Not having him there, and I'm going to bring this up later, and I think it's a good topic of conversation. Not having him up to scratch really, I think, uh, had them sort of double or quadruple down on Mo on that side of the field, not
Yeah.
really having like another. And, I know Diaz did everything he could, but we basically had two attackers there, with Jota being Jota and Nunez being Nunez, right? Like, it's a shame. It's a shame that, even amidst these celebrations, I could still look back at what we missed and be like, if Gakpo was just fit throughout the entire,
See,
midway.
I don't know about fit. That's, I think, the only issue with Gakpo. During the live watch along, you watch the first few minutes of
Mm,
that game, and I remember Mecca said it, and then we all were like, yeah, like it looked like Gakpo was into the game, and you were
into
getting the good Gakpo. I think the problem I have with Gakpo is there's a good Gakpo, and there's like an invisible one, and there's
to
nothing in between.
to be fair,
So
Tim, the Newcastle and the PSG game, he literally just trained a few days ago. So I think that might be more him being rusty than disinterested. You think, or are you still buying
I
that
don't
this?
know. I'm not talking like it's not disinterested. Like we've had him come in the past a couple of games where he just can't get into the game. Like
I don't disagree.
he doesn't get involved and he does not get into the game where he doesn't do. Okay, like I keep going back to this with Diaz. There's like a kind of like a weird um like because of his work rates and what he does defensively, and sometimes like out of in an uncontrolled fashion,
Yeah.
I feel like he finds a way to get into games like that. Like every player is different, right? Like we like okay, let's go like American sports for example. Like they always say like sometimes a quarterback has to get hits before they kind of like get into a game,
Mm,
right? I
mm.
feel like in like soccer, football, whatever you call it, every player is different. Some of them have to be on the ball, some of them have to get a tackle, some of them have to put in a tackle, whatever it is. So I feel like Diaz does those things where it gets him back in the game, but that's not really Gakpo's strength. So if he's not involved in the game early and he's in the game, you get this invisible Gakpo. So if you give a rating after the game, it's like 4 because he was nowhere to be found, kind of a thing. But then you can kind of tell early in the game where Gakpo is going to be like, okay, he's going to be in there today. And you could tell in the Tottenham game, literally in 2 minutes into the game, that he was. And then you get like an amazing player. I'm just worried about you don't know. He's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what
To
which Gakpo you're going to get.
Right. I mean, again, valid concerns, but I'd like to believe throughout this season he's been mostly aggressive, consistent, and offensively contributing well offensively, like majority of the season. I would say the blip, yeah, it was unfortunate, but then if this season's still been a massive step up for him, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's in terms of next year what everything that you're saying, I guess, is what Arn is going to be like. Okay, Cody, like first half of the season, excellent. Second half, we need you a bit more here. We need you to stop being too nice sometimes. Like, and he seems like genuinely such a nice guy. I see posts on social media, and I talk to some Liverpool fans. He seems like he could still have a sort of fierceness to him. You know what I mean? He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who'd like get stuck in and start pissing off a guy. He just back off and then just go like, yeah, I have nothing to do with that. I think I think the fact that I think that coincides with what you're saying. Like, um, he can stamp his authority more. He just seems like a passive guy in nature, by his nature, and
Okay.
I think that translates as well into his play, if that makes sense. And I guess that's also sort of like the upbringing. And I remember you like to say that Bickler brought this up. The upbringing in terms of like Diaz had to fight for everything growing up, right? In South America, growing up, well, like obviously, in not so ideal economic conditions. And South Americans just in nature, like as players, they're just naturally feisty, right? So,
I think
the,
it's a different brand of football too. Like South
exactly,
American football is a different brand of football. So yeah, I think
exactly.
you have a point there. I mean, that can probably has a bit to do with it. But I mean, you can be, I don't know, like you can be a nice, easygoing guy like me, and then be kind of like a little asshole-ish
If
perhaps
Matoush was here, he
when the
would just
time comes on the pitch. It's like, I mean, look at McAllister. Like any McAllister interview you watch and stuff like that, he's like this easygoing guy, smiles, he's like a little shy and stuff like that. He's like a little kid. But then you see him on the pitch, it's a different personality. Like, you become a different person sometimes on the pitch. I mean, that's kind of like what I liked about playing it, even after, like, like as I got older, because you kind of, it's like an alter ego, like you're a different person on the pitch, and you get it out of your system, kind of a deal. So I, so he has to have that. I mean, yeah, he is like a pit bull. I think like Pablo makes a good point over there. I mean, like he is Pablo. I'm sorry, because you want that from a player, though. You have to be physical. I mean, if you're going to be bullied off, then you're not going to make it. I don't think it's a matter of his personality. I think it's a matter of, I hope it's not effort. I don't think it's effort. I think it's just like him getting into the game. I don't know if we gotta get him the ball earlier or whatever we have to do, but it's kind of like an issue that I'm worried about moving forward, especially when there are people like yourself trying to sell Diaz. Because I think
Listen. I am not
oh,
trying to. I'm not. I am not trying to sell. Listen, and you talked about it with Gally. You talked about it with Matouche. The only reason why wasn't crying like a little child in the pub was there was just this tremendous rendition of the Luis Diaz song going around the pub, and that song is a freaking banger, man. Like it's stuck in my head over the last 3 days. That Luis Diaz, he's from Baracas. That is just an awesome song. And again, I actually like Diaz, man. You keep putting these into my mouth. I don't
you
hate
don't like
Diaz.
Diaz. You just like the song.
Like that song was raining. It was all throughout the pub. Was playing all throughout the pub, and it's just stuck in my head throughout the end of the match and everything. It's an awesome song. And listen, I know we dislike Diaz in the middle, but I don't think we can argue that three right there has been our best attack this season.
Yeah, but I mean, does that say
like
more? I think the issue is that says more about
Jota and Nunez.
Jota and Nunez than about Diaz. Unfortunately,
Right.
I don't. I think he gets way too much hate for what he has done in the middle. First of
Yeah.
all,
No,
and I think.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was asking, like Shelton was one of the. I was asking them in like during the watch along, and I think it's not that we don't like him in the middle. It's that like he's a lot better on the left than he is in the middle. It's almost like when you play the manager games, automatically when you put the guy out of position, he gets lower a little bit. But that's not really his fault. He's playing out of position, and I think he's done really well for a player playing out of position.
Yeah.
I think everybody agrees that he is more effective when he's a winger as opposed to in the middle.
Yeah, it just goes to show how big an actual 9 that slot rates, coming in next year, how big that'll be.
Yeah.
Because we got like 2 players, like we got like a player in Diaz who's actually going to be playing for his position. But it's unfortunate, like for Jota, obviously, and I know we shit on Nunez a lot, but then both of them, they still had their moments this season. Like Jota more so than Nunez, but still they still contributed more. It's just really unfortunate to see those guys just fall off the wayside.
Pretty much. I mean, Jota started really well, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like exactly.
Then he fell off after that injury. Was that the Chelsea game? I think, right? When he got sampled on.
I saw this stat actually. I think he had 8 goals in his first 19, which is not bad at all. Like that's not an awful number.
Is that enough though? That basically tells you 16, 17 goals a season. I feel like the center forward of Liverpool, a guy who has Mo on one side or Gakpo or Diaz on the other side, should be getting you 20.
I get that, but then at the same time, new system, new manager and everything. I feel like there can be a bit of at the time, right? We didn't know we were going to be challenging for the league, so that wasn't like a return that's going to get you salivating, but it's not necessarily like, because obviously we see Jota differently now. Like I think he's washed, right? But if you showed me those numbers like spread throughout the year, I would say like I'd still be okay with Jota like being our backup striker next year.
Yeah, I don't agree with that he's done thing. I think he needs a summer. He needs some time off.
Listen, I know you.
But you can't rely on injury wise, and that's like the problem. And that's really because of his style. I think the way he plays is very you can't get hurt any minutes.
I think we need to put it on record here. How you think I feel about Diaz is how I feel about Jota. Actually, like right now. I think he's done, man. Like if we get a decent fee for him, I would sell him because I feel like physically he's finished. Like everything that classic Jota used to do, like trying to do the dribbles, trying to sneak his way in the two center backs. He's just, I don't know if it's a confidence thing or he just doesn't have the legs anymore, but it's just not coming off. And I feel like we need more in that position, even from the sub, if you get my meaning. Like the best we could, like best he can be next year is our backup nine, and I feel like even what he gives, that's not even enough for the backup nine. If that
Really,
makes
I
sense.
would not mind in a game where you're kind of struggling to maybe get a goal or you're chasing a game or something like that. I
Right.
would not mind putting Jota in because I would feel like he's gonna get one. Like, there are certain games where you're like, you need Jota in the box right now, kind of a deal. So I would feel good about him coming off the bench
I
next season.
guess.
I'd
I,
be
I,
totally
I
okay with
guess.
that.
I get,
As
and
opposed to getting like two new nines. I mean, this is an option, and I hear this a lot about Dan's, and I worry a lot when we put our eggs in a basket of
in
a
a
kid.
young basket, yeah, it's like saying that.
Um,
It's like
Based
saying
on
that
a small sample size, he didn't even get to play, I don't think, when we loaned him out.
Yeah.
So, which, it's not always easy for a kid that age to be loaned out and get regular minutes and performance stuff. It doesn't happen all the time. But I would not want to go to a season. See, I would be okay with Dance being the third in case Jota is injured. So now he becomes your
You mean the
backup
second?
in the middle. Yeah, well, I
You
guess.
mean the
Yeah.
second?
But
I mean,
and then you still
idiots.
have Diaz in the squad. I mean, people are as I watch that game afterwards and I look at, like the squad across the board, I know we talked a lot about, I mean, we were talking about this with Gally as well, and I was asking him because we've been talking about, people who might potentially leave. And
Right.
then, like, oh, like 8, 9 guys coming and stuff like that. I don't think that's, this team doesn't necessarily need that. I think we're doing kind of like almost like unnecessary too much surgery in some ways. Part of it is now Slot is going to have an entire offseason. We forget that he had a short offseason last year, right? These guys
Right.
will get more rest because there's no tournaments or anything like that. And, instead of getting like 3 people to the front line, you can literally get away with. I know we don't know what the hell's going to happen with Chiesa, but you can get away with getting a solid, no questions asked, number 9, a center forward there that you really, really want,
Hmm.
and be like, we're good up top. Would you
Yeah.
be good up top? Because I would be, I think, right now, good up top.
Uh, if we get the 9 that you're saying and we keep Jota, I wouldn't be upset. Like you said, I did, like I said, I did mention that I would sell him, but then I also wouldn't be upset if we don't. You know what I mean? Because I still, as much as I feel what I feel right now, I like Jota. He's my, after Mo, I think if everyone's healthy, if everyone's fit and firing, I think last year he was our second best attacker. And I came into that season, into this season with that expectation. And I genuinely believe the reason why we kind of fell off the title race last year is because we didn't have someone like him to help Mo. We didn't
Yeah.
have that clinical finisher to help Mo. So I guess it's disappointing to see how this year was for him. And but at the same time, logically, you're like your mind is feeling certain things, but your heart, like, not to be dramatic, right? I still feel like that there's something of the Jota that we know there, the one who gets the ball in the penalty box and it's a goal. I think you mentioned it when when he's in a certain position, bang, it's a goal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, over the last few games, like I think against Fulham, he had a one-on-one with Leno, where old Jota scores that easily, but he shoots it
Yeah.
straight at him. I thought he was going to turn a corner after the Everton game where he scored that vintage goal where he just goes on this dribble. Like, it looked like a FIFA. Ironically, it looked like a FIFA goal, right? Where he just presses, I think it's circle X, and then like shot fake, and then score. But like, that's literally what he did. Dude is on FIFA too much, is what I'm saying. It's what I'm saying. So I'm going on a tangent here, but I see what you're trying to say. I wouldn't be against it, but at the same time, let's say if let's say Wolves offer 30 million for him, yes, let's go for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably, because then I would be okay with getting like somebody
yeah.
young that they feel like has like a huge upside or something like
Mm.
that. I'd be go with that. So, Ramsan, what's going on? Chris in
Well, I
the
haven't
house.
seen
Saying,
him for
who
a
should I
while. Yeah.
take as are as good as done, man. I'm telling you, while they're there picking those guys up,
Get some menu,
there's
yeah,
an extra seat in the back. Put
yeah.
Semenyo over there too, and bring his butt over here. And I think that would be a good haul from Bournemouth. And I think man, it solves so many problems at once. And I don't even know like if there are problems, if you will, but I think it addresses any needs. Like I am okay with that
Ooh,
as an off
start.
season. Like you go to Bournemouth, you grab those three and come back, and maybe get a nine because I don't know if I trust Semenyo in the middle as much. But um, that's I think all you need. I think people are doing a little bit over the top surgery with this squad. I know, and I can tell it's reactionary because the major surgery that was being done after the Newcastle game is not as major now. People are like those people who were like basically selling three-quarters of the team are kind of like back to their senses now. I think overall, but like I just don't think you need seven, eight. Whoa, where are you putting me over here?
Yeah,
I
webcam
don't
is
think ultimately we need like like all this like huge shopping list that everybody has. Good morning. Yes, this is gonna be the next 4 weeks at least. I think, right? We're just gonna
campeon.
be like, good morning.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. Like
Um, he does seem like he's not keeping pace with the game as he
it's
used
what I'm
to.
saying, man. It looks like his legs, his physicality is gone. He's. I feel like he's playing, and again, like listen, this is just my opinion, right? I feel like he's playing with a cautiousness because he knows he can get injured every now and then so easily, which takes away. And again, like you mentioned earlier in the show, he gets injured because of the way he plays sometimes, being
Yes.
too into the center backs, caught like trying to trip guys, like and simulate some fouls. I think he's kind of moving away from that to an extent sometimes because he knows like he falls badly once, that's 3 months. You know what I mean? And in an
Yeah.
essence, he loses a bit of that effectiveness, which which is unfortunate. Like it is what it is. You
I mean,
gotta,
I don't know. Maybe he is seeing the writing on the wall
yeah,
and he doesn't want to be injured going into an off season where people might be coming for them and stuff. But um, I I guess my biggest thing would be you got to be careful of how many pieces you're kind of moving.
oh yeah,
And are you going to get definitely a better piece? Now, everybody who says like Dan's or somebody else right now
yeah, I
is
disagree.
not going to say that when they come in and they don't score the goal and
Yeah,
stuff like that. See, I like this shopping list right here. Isak, another midfielder that you can
he's
add to the rotation,
yeah,
right? Hopefully, Saidu's not in the comments, so because he'll be all over this. Hoyson and Kirkaz. And then, yes, he did add this because I was about to add that to the list. So Chris added himself and a right back because I am still not sold on. I will love Frimpong and he can play right wing when Mo goes for the tournaments in December, I think it is this time. So he can play winger. Otherwise, he can play right back.
yeah,
You can utilize him in multiple ways. I'll go with that. So that's what it says. Brother gets the weirdest injuries.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, his style, because of how he plays, he's like a bowling ball sometimes that just goes into like people and then comes out the other side with like the ball. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot more prone to getting injured because he's not the biggest dude either to be playing that. He plays like a big nine, even though he's not. But I am totally okay with Adriano. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of that. But I think, I don't know. I'm okay with him definitely being the backup.
If
I'm not going to be like, oh, why didn't we
if
get somebody else?
if it's a choice between him and like if he goes and Dan's is a replacement, like are you insane? We keep Jota all day long, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to shoot. You don't want to shoot down a kid's confidence by saying like, okay, you gotta get into this cup game and you gotta get a goal and an assist like right away off the bat. The pressure on that for a kid, right,
Yes.
is too
And
much.
he's done well, but I
Yeah,
mean, it's different to kind of come in. I think the biggest thing you get with young kids is the consistency. I mean, although that
yeah,
that kind of like comes with age, so you got to kind of worry about that, and you don't want to put your eggs in that basket. And especially if it's Isak, for example, he has like a little injury history here and there too. So you got to be careful with that. Oh, I thought you meant Adriano, the Brazilian Adriano. Remember like the Brazilian Adriano, like this big dude that would like roll people over? Yeah, I was actually talking about Andre. I definitely hope Saidu's not in the comments now because he's a huge
I
Andre
never
fan.
saw the hype for that guy. By the way, I was like, okay, we're linked to him, but is he any good? And I think, and I remember making a clip about it from you and Matu the morning show. It's different when, and no disrespect, it's different to see a player in the South American League because you know that league has a different tactical standard compared to a European league, and especially at the time where we were still under Jurgen, and we were extremely like uh, critical of players and how they would fit the club system that's been around for almost 10 years. So I was like, I didn't get the whole Andre thing, man. Honestly,
I don't like when I watch him. You can kind of see. I mean, he plays for Brazil and stuff, so
yeah.
obviously he has the quality. And I think he is more. I honestly find him more suitable for the old midfield than the new midfield. But he's comfortable on the ball, which is what you need out of your
Okay.
defensive midfielders right now. He's more of like a McAllister type dude in that sense. He might not be huge physically, but plays rough, feisty, wins the ball, comfortable on the ball. And yeah, I mean that is a possibility, right? Jota and a little bit of cash or something like that, and
How
like
do you
bring a
feel
guy
about
in
that?
like that. I can definitely see that possibility. And okay,
How
he
do you feel
doesn't
about
tick
that?
any freaking boxes. First of all, the biggest box he ticks is that he has touched his body has touched a God's jersey.
How
So
do you
that
feel about
is,
that, by the way, man? That an Andre swap deal for Jota. Would you be
oh yeah, hell yeah.
hell
Hell yeah.
yeah?
I think it
Mm.
addresses your needs. It's a Premier League experienced dude that has done well in the Premier League so far. And I think all you need for this midfield, there are not a lot of guys you can go out and buy and bring in as a starter. I
Mm.
think what you really want is somebody at the same level so you don't have a huge drop off when they play instead. And you don't have to play Gravenberg every game and you don't have to play
Hmm.
McAllister every game and stuff like that. I think that's the part
I
that I want.
I think Jones actually takes a massive leap next year, whether that's at the 10 or at the 2 6s, where he can
I
be
kind of
yeah.
count him already in that mix, though. You need one more person in that mix, unless they feel like Morton or O'Connell or Bicetic comes back and he kind of like fits that, and can be that extra player. I would be definitely okay with like getting somebody else. Especially like get Gordon. I mean, if Gordon is a name.
That means Diaz is gone if we get Gordon.
Yes, right?
Yeah,
Because if Gordon is coming, I
yeah.
I don't know why you would have three guys who can play the same wing. I mean, Mo is there. Mo is playing if he's there. So that wing automatically gets shut down. And I don't know if you want three guys on the left over there. So if Gordon is coming, which I can see, because Diaz does have a market and he is okay with going. So I can see something like that happens. This is
For the record, before you go, I hope Diaz stays.
how the turntables. I think
Again, I never wanted. I love how it just got dark here on my end. I never wanted him to go, man. Like it's just if Barcelona offer us 50 or 45, would you not entertain that? That's what
what
I
did
was
they only do like a 10% off sale. It was like 50. You're like, you know what, 10% off this week.
like,
Uh,
because we like meeting in the middle, right? So maybe we'd start it off at like 60, 55, then we'd just go down to a reasonable like fee, I would say. For a guy who's 28 turning 29, 45 I think, or 50 even, if Michael Edwards works his magic. That's what I was trying to say early on, where you thought I was trying to sell him. What I was trying to say, if someone comes in with like 50, you'd be opposed to that?
Probably not. I was
Yeah.
just pulling it up. He's 28 years old.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, because he's still like, listen, he's got our second most goals and assists. It's been a good season for him, like 8 out of 10 season for me, for Diaz. His stock at his age has never been higher. Barcelona want him, right? 45 to 50. Who says no, right? Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, but you have to replace him.
Yeah, that's the risk that comes with it. So I guess it's preferential. Like, are you willing to take that risk? For that kind of money, I might. Like, I'm 60-40 to it. 60, yes.
I guess if you replace him with Gordon and
Hmm.
pay an extra like 20 or 30 or something like that,
Hmm.
he's only 24, so you're getting younger by paying a little bit. So I can kind of like, I mean, yeah, has some of the best numbers for a left winger. That's the thing, man. You can't tell that to John. He's just a Diaz hater. It is what it is. It just is
I
what it is.
Man, I feel like I've done my penance, bro. I've gone through sang the Luis Diaz song for almost 2 hours straight in last Sunday. Like I feel like I've done my penance, man. I feel like I've done enough to prove that I don't hate Diaz, and here you are still saying that I want.
Gotta push the agenda, man. I don't know. Okay, this whole Victor Osimhen thing. The the thing I come back to on this, and we were talking about this yesterday, um, in the panel show with Glenn. I watched this team. I literally right before we went on air, Angie and I were watching Inside the Enfield. And if you haven't watched it, it's definitely a great watch. Kind of like get behind the scenes and stuff like that afterwards. Um, the thing I like about this team, and I was telling Glenn because obviously we're going to be a little bit more biased, but it's a team full of very likable, unselfish, team-oriented dudes who are leaders and captains and stuff like that throughout. You look at those entire celebrations, and I don't care what jersey they wore. I said it last night. I'll say it again. Like I don't consider Suarez, for example, a great player, great score and stuff like that. But I just don't consider him a good human. It is what it is, right? But the thing I don't like about Victor is we don't have anybody like that with that kind of a luggage in this club right now. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you do want that because he does have that. I
Mhm.
mean, not only because of like Napoli and stuff like that, but I see how he carries himself. He's a more me guy than anything else. So that's my only
Yeah.
reservation, not to mention he has touched physically a Galatasaray jersey on his
Yeah.
body. So, I mean, that's basically my biggest concern with that. Bringing a guy who has had issues like that. And Trevor brings up a good point. So now during AFCON, you are missing both of them for a month. And do you really want that?
Yeah.
That's not a smart
Listen.
squad planning going into this season. Maybe it is for the long run, but definitely not for the short run. And it's not like he's going to come cheap. He is not going to come cheap, especially in this market right now. He is not going to come cheap. Um, yeah, I think like I wouldn't mind Gordon at all. I like his work rates. He's like one of those guys that I think we hated on him because he was at Everton and stuff like that. But really, I mean, his work rate, what he does on the pitch and stuff like that, like it's a guy that you would love to have on your team. Like there are some guys that we hate on, right? But I mean, a lot of people probably hate on Robertson, right?
Oh yeah.
Because of how he did. But that's different. I think there's two different things. Sometimes you hate on a player, but if they were on your team, you will love them. And
Yeah.
that's okay. I think that profile. But there are some guys I just don't want on my team. Like I don't care. Like a Havertz. Like I don't want that dude on my team. I don't want to
Yeah.
root for a guy like that. I don't want to root for whiny Jesus, for example, from like Arsenal. Like there are certain players that I just don't want to root for. I don't think I would like them even if they were in my squad. So see, like there you go. Case closed. Let's move on to the
Yeah.
next
I don't
topic.
know enough about Osimhen, and you're the best one to speak about this. But I
Oh, he's
am
a
a big
great player and a finisher. I just
right.
know, like looking at his history, how he ended up in Galatasaray. First of all, I think a lot has to be said about nobody even went for him in January. But I don't know. He'll be great. I think he will do very well.
Right.
But I don't know if you want the baggage that
Yeah.
comes with it.
I was about to say, like you said, talented player, but then and I don't know enough about him, but then at the same time, I'll take your word for it, and I would prioritize locker room harmony and chemistry all day long over a
Yeah,
player. Like I would take a lesser player who would fit in seamlessly right away, like in a heartbeat. Like a
yeah.
lesser player who would fit in seamlessly right away.
I hear I mean, the word is kind of like, what Chris was saying about, Kerkez and stuff like that being close to us. I hear this kid being close to Arsenal all the time.
Mm.
But I'm not sure. I like Diaz when he has space out left, but I prefer Cody in the left. I mean, if it's up to John, Diaz
Hey,
would
it's
go
horses for
tomorrow.
courses, man. Like I feel like there are games where Diaz is better on the left. There are games where Cody is better at the left. Like
What was that game? Was that the City game where we did the four midfielders and two attackers? I don't think
yeah,
you can pull that off with Gakpo, for example.
yeah, because you need I think the work rate to defend to go back in
Yeah.
and ensure that that low block stays as a low block. Trent tried his absolute damnedest to make sure it wasn't a low block, but it still was a low block in the end,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah. I would rate Southampton for Dibbling and Matheus Fernandes.
look at us talking about transfers so early, and like it means
I
something.
don't. It's like
Like,
that victory tour. I mean, you can only like lap around so much without going shopping a little. Let's go shopping. I would be the problem. So, are we all in agreement then? Like,
mhm,
Chiesa is gonna be
is
gone
gone.
because that's how everybody is talking. Otherwise, we wouldn't look for,
I
somebody who
s-
can like back up Mo and stuff like
I
that. I mean,
saw, yeah, I saw this headline earlier this morning when I was looking for stuff to talk about that, and it was from Lewis Steele as well, like semi-reliable journalist. That the Plymouth game really tarnished this backroom staff's confidence for Chiesa, and I was like, that does not make sense. Like Jota played and Nunez played that game as well, and they still got more minutes than Chiesa towards the season as the season wore on. So it can't just be that game, right?
the
And
problem is, I think what we do as fans when we are looking at attacking players, we're only looking at them mostly when they have the ball or when they are around the ball,
But
right?
then on Nunez that destroys that argument. Off the ball, Nunez is awful. Like
Yeah,
Chiesa
I
could,
mean,
yeah,
but I don't think he was ever going to start. I mean, you're already not going to start. You're already starting Diaz over two center forwards. You're not going to start your other right winger who never plays as a center forward. You're going to go with Diaz. Could he have gotten more minutes along the way? Yeah, but either I'm not saying it's just on tape. I'm saying maybe is his reaction to what is shown to him afterwards and saying like, or he did something in the Plymouth game that he was already warned about a couple of times or pointed
maybe,
out about
yeah.
a couple of times, like shape, defensive shape, the pressing, or whatever it might be. Like I say, we're kind of like when we're watching and the ball goes over there, so the spotlight goes with him and we start watching because you don't see him anyway. He's not even on the screen. Whereas when these guys watch it, obviously they watch a lot more things and a lot more is being talked about. So when I heard that story too, like I was shocked as well. But I think there has to be a backstory to that. It's not like he showed up that game and they were like, "You're done. I don't want to see you anymore."
Yeah,
I almost feel like there was a precursor to that made that decision
probably.
after the Plymouth
Yeah,
game.
probably. And unfortunately, all we have is speculation until maybe 2 or 3, 4 more years when Chiesa releases his autobiography and then he talks about what happened. But then to be fair, that would be extremely one-sided as well. It was only his point
Yeah,
of view. Yeah, we wouldn't see Arne's point of view on it. I think Mo Salah being Mo Salah as well played a big factor into Chiesa not getting a second. Because listen, if Mo is available to play, there is no reason he should be playing Chiesa anywhere. Like right wing being his preferred position. Oh, Salah's available. Oh yeah, we're going like Mo
yeah.
99.99999% of the time, right?
I wonder though, because we were talking about this, and I know he's going to be chasing even more records and stuff like that. But it could be a conversation where, if they're this openly discussing things, and I'm sure they are. I mean, you kind of like heard it in the post-match press conference and stuff. I don't know if it's a scenario where they're like, "Hey, man, we don't want you to drop off. I mean, you're going to go to the African Cup. We know what happens when he comes back from that and stuff. We're going to control his minutes more. So his backup is going to come in the 75th now instead of 93rd or something like
Will
that. You know what I mean?
will that backup be Chiesa though? You think?
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think the credit you can give to Chiesa, by the way, is the fact that for a guy who has not played and a guy that all the fans are like, why is he not playing? Why is not? He has never fed that, and he
Yeah,
has
he's been
never like done
yeah.
anything with the media or like the
Unlike
interview and stuff like that to the Italian press or whatever, saying like I should get more minutes. So you have to give him credit for being a team player for a guy of his like guy who has his resume, like like Costas, for example, like okay with being in the role that they are. But I mean, I don't mean to hate on Costas as always,
Yeah, I was
but
like, here we go.
Costas can be like, well, yeah, I'm not gonna get over Robertson. I get it. It's a bit trickier for a guy like Chiesa to kind of sit there and just wait. So for him to kind of take that and be a team player, I think you got to give him credit for that because a lot of other players would not do that. Players with his resume, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, unlike certain players, certain Uruguayan striker, he didn't go out and tweet about it and then
Yeah,
immediately delete it. Like, stand on your
yeah.
word, buddy. Like, say what you want to say. What you want to say. Stand on it. I don't like that. By the way, like, deleted it
I
right
mean,
away.
yeah,
Then, yeah,
honestly, over time throughout the season,
yeah,
I mean, going back to what I was saying, he has become slowly but surely a harder guy to root for. With how he's gone about things when it comes to Nunez. I mean, we
oh
were
yeah.
like, oh, the efforts and stuff like that, but slowly but surely, not only like seeing the same crap over and over again gets frustrating. I mean, you just literally just saw it again this last game, in case you forgot, when we were on like a 2v1 and he managed to screw
Yeah,
that up with a bad pass. So I think
it's
that's the
just
guy that, okay, like you're out of here
it
kind of
just
a deal.
it just really it's like a perfect microcosm when Nunez was on that break with the ball on the left hand side. I turned to the left and ordered a beer because I knew this wasn't going to amount to anything. Like I was that
While everybody's distracted, can I
yeah,
have a
well,
beer?
everyone's looking at it because I wanted to get another round, and then everyone's like, oh, like everyone just like when a player comes in and is close, right?
Yeah.
The crowd just goes. I turned to the left and then just ordered a beer
That's pretty
because
sad by itself, by the way.
yeah, like listen, and I'm not even making this up. This isn't for the cameras. I legit did that because the line was long. Everyone was ordering right for the next round. Perfect opportunity, and Nunez had the ball. I was like, yeah, I'm going in. I'm going in.
Look,
Like,
Nunes 1v1. Can I
yeah,
have a beer
yeah,
over?
yeah. Can I have it?
What's it up with my friends?
Like,
I guess the other question is,
yeah.
and this is like the interesting part, I think it makes it a bit more easier, maybe knowing it's 2 years, but would Dibbling want to be, yeah, I'll come sit behind.
Yeah,
With a
that's
guy
my
with
whole
his
thing.
potential, will he want to come sit behind? And this is the tricky part when you have like a really good team. You have to find guys that are going to be, I think because of his age, he might kind of like get in the mix, knowing Mo is going to be, he did a 2-year extension, and that's going to be the end of it. He's going to be gone in 2 years, so maybe I don't mind the name at all. Costas known as long as Salah's at Liverpool. I mean, there has to be somebody else over there who can make coffee for Mo. So I mean, it's just, there has to be like
Yeah, you are not having that. You are not having that.
uh, yeah, he's a player. He's definitely a player. He's a fun dude to watch. I'll give him that. Finland and Sport has two different cards. The fans have the same, don't seem to have the same negativity towards them as we do. No, see, you know what it is? And I've been saying this for months now, because we have learned to treat him like a toddler because he acts like one. Because we know if the fans are kind of like do the oh and stuff like that, he's gonna start crying. So you're like, you know when the kid falls and you like kind of pick him up, that's something
Yeah,
like
I agree.
you're okay. Yeah, that's basically what we're doing. Because if you tell the kids, are you hurt? They're gonna start crying. So that's how you handle those things. And
Yeah,
I
and
feel
I
like
agree.
that's why fans know him
And
enough to do the Nunez thing.
and for me, the negativity, like I get it. It's not nice to go against your player and everything, but then at the same time, how many chances have we given the guy, Tim? Like here, just in this show, like I remember there was a stretch where I was campaigning for Nunez. Like I thought he was gonna have a great season. Like Anan was, like even, there was a point where even Gordo was like,
To
yeah,
be
like
fair, Anand thought Ruud van Nistelrooy was going to do a great job at Leicester
no,
too.
no, no.
So
But what I'm trying to say is, we gave him those chances. Like we gave him the benefit of the doubt multiple times, and he's failed to come through. So it is what it is. Like we no longer have that faith. And
yeah,
since
I
yeah,
mean, I
since
don't
he
know who is there still
yeah,
somebody out there that who says no, next year is the year. I don't think there's anybody
nah,
left,
no,
and that's why I'm not buying the match going fans love Nunez thing, Mr. Patrick, because I think they just know how to handle him.
yeah.
is basically there. A lot of parents out there in the stands. They just know how to handle him. They know that's the only way to kind of like wind the toy back up and like let him loose over there. So maybe he'll do something because they know he can't even handle any kind of negativity. So he's gonna like freaking like go on the sideline and tweet and come back in or something like that. So I don't think there is anybody here the last 6 months. I mean, his
To be
head is
fair,
upward now, but even before then, I think the last 3-4 months, I don't think there was anybody left
to be fair,
on Nunez's camp saying like, "Oh,
yeah.
he needs more time," or the system, blah blah blah. No,
To be fair, yeah,
he has the physical abilities, but not good enough to be a striker in the
yeah.
Premier League.
I I actually I remember in the 24-hour podcast I said it. I wanted him sold that summer because I had a feeling like from what we knew at the time with how Slot was gonna do things, it's very thinky. You know what I mean? His tactics rely less on passion and desire and more of positioning, knowing what to do in your role, like knowing what to do with the ball with this certain situation. And we know all of those are Nunez's weaknesses. That is why I mentioned last summer that we probably
Yeah.
needed to cash him in when his value was still relatively decent. And I'm not trying to say this as an I told you so, but then because I also still wanted him to prove me wrong. You know what I mean? It's just unfortunate
Yeah,
because
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, yeah.
because
I mean, we want him to do well.
yeah, we wanted to prove him wrong. Yeah, we wanted to prove him wrong, but it's just unfortunate because how are you, by the way, with the comments that we should have taken the 80 million last January from Saudi? Where
I
are
don't
you with
know
that?
why we didn't.
Same, 80 million. Like
I
you mean
think
to
it was
yeah
more of
yeah you mean to tell me we can't get two guys who would know what to do in a 2-on-1 situation for 80 million, right? Like
I don't know. I felt like one, they felt that 80 million is always going to be there, which I don't think it is, but you never
no,
know.
it's not.
Or they just didn't want to mess with the squad. They wanted to keep rolling. They already have a plan for the summer, and let's execute the original plan. Let's stick with it. Because if you take him out, you did have to bring somebody in, right? Because what if like one of your left
Yeah.
wingers get injured or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that only leaves you Diaz. Because Jota was out at the time. So you're not
Thanks.
going to do that and then go down to just we will go down, especially the way they felt about Chiesa at the time. They're not going to go down to three players for three positions up top. And so you have to bring somebody new in. I really don't think they wanted to mess with um like the chemistry, the squad, and the plan. I'm sure last summer when we didn't spend the money, there was a plan as we go forward during the season. This is what we're gonna do in the summer of 2025. And they didn't want to. They're like, let's stay the course. We're doing well. Everything is going good. You're going for a quad at the time or whatever. Let's just stay with what we have and not be swayed by an extra 10, 20 million and then have to go shopping now and then get somebody else and stuff like that. Because here's the thing: when you try to get somebody in January, you're going to overpay anyway. So kind of like what they were overpaying. So you're gonna overpay anyway. Why the extra 10, 20 you get that you might not get now from Nunez? You're gonna pay that extra 10, 20 when you
For an
go after the
attacker.
guy that you really want
Yeah.
because he's gonna be it's January. So yeah, I mean it's on at the end of the day. Yeah, exactly. That's
It's
gonna
still
apply.
it's still I get it. Like you presented a very logical case, but still it just makes me sad. Like that
I know that's logical, Tim, but hell with that.
yeah, like because listen, you mean to tell me I get squad harmony and everything like that. Yes, that's very valid arguments, but you mean to tell me we can't get someone for 80 million, right?
I
Who
mean,
can
you can get someone,
yeah,
but
yeah, but like to do the bare minimum that Nunez cannot. That is come on. Like
but
I
you just bring in a new dude into like you're just introducing a new dude that you didn't have to. And like you say, when you don't want to just get a dude, right? You're gonna get a guy that you really want to get.
yeah.
I mean, if they went after one of those guys, that would be one thing. But I think, for example, like Marmoush, both those players sold for a lot more than what they would probably sell for in like summer 2024 because it was January. And
I
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, watching that the Georgian kids, Kvarachkila yesterday, yeah, he's something, man. I mean,
That was a
obviously
pen, by
watching him
the way.
against us too, but
That was a
his
pen, by the way.
physicality.
That
I'm
was a
shocked by his physicality, to be honest. I don't watch a lot of Serie A, so I didn't watch a lot of them over there. But as I was always worried, he's like a little dude in the Premier League kind of thing, and he does some like he looks more. His body looks more Messi-ish and not Mo-ish. You know what I mean? Like Mo's a little dude too, but he's built, he's strong. I did not think this kid would be this physical and this good. Um, and Marmoush, yeah, man, I think he's the real deal. But I guess on our way out, let me ask you that. Not that any of us know the answer to this, because I know Alan wants us to go for another hour, but
I
some
mean,
of us
I
have to work.
would, but like,
Some of us have to work around here.
I actually have to, but then listen, yeah, anyway, go on and ask.
um, what kind of a nine do you think Slot brings in? Does he bring in a Marmoush-like guy, like Bobby, somebody like that, or he brings in like an Isak kind of guy or Simon kind of guy?
Isak Osimhen, the lap kind of guy, you mean, right? Like a target man, like kind of hold the
Yeah,
ball
I
up. Yeah.
guess if you really want to get to laughing there, why the hell not? Yeah.
Listen,
Only
I'm
30 million.
yeah, the latter, a proper nine, I think. I feel a proper nine that can do a
Okay.
little bit, a little bit of the. I I don't want to say it, but it's too because it's too high a bar. A la Harry Kane, because Kane, when he played for Spurs, and even now, he can function as a distributor down that middle as well, holding up the ball and then giving the ball to his wingers out wide as well, and also drop in deep, get the ball and spray it out to his
Yeah.
wingers. So I feel like that ideally kind of nine, like the nine we get won't exactly be able to do that at a high level right away. I feel like he can do it at a good level, but then not a world class level yet. But ideally, he should be able to do that. But then at the same time, it is like that guy that Salah can do his outside foot of the cross in, head the ball well, and if we're playing it long, playing it short, can hold it up against like a Dan Burn. Like I still get trauma from the League Cup final, like with Jota trying to hold off like that 6'8" monster.
Yeah.
Like we'd want someone like that who can actually stand a chance. I feel.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I think so too. I don't
yeah,
think it's necessarily a dude that's going to. I think we do want somebody with physicality that's going
yeah.
to be a threat on on the pitch as well. So let's say it's gonna be like I was saying it yesterday too. This is a very interesting summer. I usually normally anybody who knows me and has followed the channel for some time knows I hate transfer season with a passion. But this is going to be an interesting summer. What's really interesting is we do have a new sponsor. Our new sponsor is JLA Fashions. If you go to their custom collections right here, they've always hosted our like items, our swag, if you will. And I see like the prices are like ridiculously good because they're kind of like
I never like you saying swag just came out the way I expected it. It's with like a do I want to say this swag like the way that you said it just came out the way I expected
with
it
the stuff. Yeah.
100%.
But most importantly, these two items right here are basically kind of like celebrating them, bring them on as
I
sponsor
ordered mine. I
one.
ordered mine last Monday when you
You did
mentioned
really? Okay.
yeah.
Like yeah, the number 20 shirts over here. It's actually a design created by Tim, our good guy, and then obviously the back on our perch shirt, which is kind of like my favorites, is on there now as well. So you want us to stay on for another hour, Alan? Head on over to the site, buy like 1,000 shirts or something, and then we went out to work. But yeah, good way to support the sites and get something cool at the same time. If you want to head on over there, I will actually throw the link in the chat as well. Why the hell not? But otherwise, the gang will be back tomorrow night for the Thursday night podcast. The Bald Crew will be on here, and then we're gonna continue this tour, I guess, like
Yeah,
just to keep taking
yeah.
the laps. over and over and over again. It's going to be, I mean, on Friday, we'll talk about the Chelsea game and stuff like that. I am intrigued to see how Slot handles.
I'm intrigued to see if if the players are going to be up for it, because I've been seeing this video all over social media. The game we had, I think, against Villa when we won the league a few years ago, where Trent like didn't know where to line up. Like, I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of that. We're gonna be seeing some very wayward defending. That's my prediction there.
I know when I saw him, like during the celebrations, I was like, so how are these guys going to play another 4 games?
Exactly.
So that's why I'm intrigued to see if Slot says,
Yeah.
hey, why don't we like rotate a little bit, give people some minutes, and like have fun rest of the season? Or will they say, no, we want to finish emphatically, hit the 90 points and stuff
For the
like that,
record.
and have that kind of a drive? It would be
For the
interesting
record.
to see.
Yeah. For the record, before we go out, what do you think he's going to do?
Because it is Chelsea and Arsenal, I think we go with a strong lineup the next 2 games.
Same. I think so too, but results may vary in terms of how the team is going to be playing.
And honestly, like, I mean, this is exactly only thing I'm watching. Like, I just want him to get the numbers, just keep feeding it to him, take all the dives in the box, so we get some penalties, whatever it takes. But yeah, I mean, that's really what I'm after, for him to like get the numbers. That's what I'll be watching for. It's kind of going to be really hard to be critical, but at the same time, I do want him to be professional. Whoever is at the end of the day going out there, go out there and do your job. But it's going to be really hard to be like, what the hell was that? And all that kind of stuff that we probably normally do during a match day. But hey, have a great day, everybody. We are the freaking champions still. We will be for another 4 weeks and another 52 weeks after that. So enjoy every second of it. I know we did a lot of transfer talk, but, got to make sure we are going to start looking ahead. It's kind of like human nature. We kind of fought the good fight on Monday and we didn't do it, but we are going. I mean, we have 4 weeks. As we take the laps, we will take water breaks and talk transfers here and there and look ahead. But can't forget to kind of like appreciate and celebrate. And
that's that's the champion me. Like that's how I would be playing right now if I was on the pitch, honestly.
But have a great week, everybody. We'll see you guys here tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern with the Bald Crew, and I'm sure they'll be doing some laps as well. Take care.